I think that Disney wants to have Fox, but I don't think it's a must-have. So I think that there'll be a disciplined bidder. I think what we're hoping for is that there could be a compromise, that perhaps they could split the baby. My sense is that Comcast is particularly interested in Sky, and Disney, might have more interest in much of the rest of it. But we'll see. I think that at the end of the day, if Disney walked away from Fox, their business would be fine.
In terms of Comcast, how high do you think they could go? I mean, it has been telegraphed and reported that the Roberts really, really want these assets, especially the international assets, which would mean which would really be game-changing for the company since there is no international presence right now. How important is that in the long run for Comcast?
Well, I think that, the Roberts family has the ability to march to their own drummers. So clearly, their investors haven't been supportive, but they don't need to worry too much about that. I think one of the other wild cards here is it just Disney and Comcast? I do think that, I wouldn't completely discount the possibility of another interloper from tech. I think the India assets of Fox, where they have the leading TV network conglomerate there with Star, could be very interesting to internet guys that are really trying to scale a presence in India. That could be a great promotional engagement platform as we look at the future, which I think is breaking down the silos and combinations across many, content and platform type possibilities.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I wanted to go, Barton, with you, and that is that vertical mergers are on the table now. What other sort of combinations are you dreaming up and put in the, not improbable category?
Yeah, look, I think that you got to be careful. I mean, I do see clear buyers for Fox, right? Fox, I think, is the most impactful content conglomerate available today. I think the buyers are a relatively limited universe. You look at people like Verizon, you look at the big internet guys. I think that you kind of go down the food chain of impactful content. So I have CBS and Viacom in one bucket. If the Redstones were willing to negotiate, I think there would be a lot of interest. I think that then you could look at some of the, Discoveries of the world and the Lionsgates of the world. The question is, the internet guys, like a Netflix, like an Amazon, they've done so well at content. They have a build it, I think, versus buy mentality. The real question is the guys who haven't been so successful in exclusive original content, people like a Facebook, people like an Apple. Time to market is important in tech and internet, and a way to maybe close the gap on originals could be for those guys to look at acquisitions. Facebook in particular, I think, is interesting. They did bid against Fox for the cricket rights in India and around the world, particularly popular in India, so I keep an eye on what they do.
Brian, Barton, let me jump in. I'm thinking of Brian Roberts, who, when he gets into one of these bidding situations, he usually comes out on top. There are a couple of things at play here. One would be price, and the other would be form of payment. And as I understand it, Comcast is offering to pay in cash and maybe offering a higher price than Disney. How much of an advantage does that, if an advantage at all, give to Comcast? And how much of an advantage might Disney have because Fox and Disney, both personally and corporately, have already agreed to a deal?
Well, look, I think that for the Murdoch family, they'd much rather have stock. So I'd be surprised if Comcast didn't find a way to give the Murdoch family the option of getting stock to limit their tax leakage, and to give other investors the option of stock, if they similarly want a, tax plan in that way.
Interesting.
So on the flip side, I think that Disney is perfectly capable of throwing cash onto its offer. So I think that the form of currency, should not be a problem for either of these bidders. I think it's really just a question of, who's willing to put the most stress on their balance sheet, and do we get some other interloper? And at the end of the day, I think Disney would love to have it if they can, but I don't think they're going to kill themselves to get there.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.